Tori Kelly, I should say, with I'll Find You. 16 minutes past 8, and we're going to be getting into Story of Hope next.
Jesus finds you.
So hold on and I'll find you.
Where you are. CCFm.
My feel-good radio station. Feel-good radio station. Make me feel good.
107.5.
Changing lives for good.
It is such an honor and a privilege to be joined by the head girl and head boy from 50 years ago. What an honor and a privilege. Andre Travill and Felicity Duthie, thank you so much to the two of you for joining us. This is such an honor and a privilege. I mean, wow, just thinking about the legacy that the two of you have, it's just so beautiful. All right, so let's get into it. Please, I'd like to start with ladies first. Felicity, will you please share some of the events and experiences in your life that shaped you to be the person that you are today?
Okay, Jonathan and Rachel. So my role is that, you know, sorry, let me start again. I grew up in a very supportive home, a loving, caring home. I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior at an early time in my life. And I learned to play the piano also at an early stage of my life. And then, of course, the educators at Lukhof High School played a huge role in shaping who I am today. And then I was afforded the privilege to go and study at Belleville College, and then later on in life to do my licentiate in piano teaching. So that is what shaped most of my life. And then in my latter years, I was able to be in a supportive role at our local churches. And then I have ended my career, or so to speak, at CCFm as the head of administration. So there we go.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Really appreciate that. Andre, for you, some of those things that you experienced as a young boy that shaped your life and shaped you to be the man that you are today.
Yes, thank you, Jonathan. I'm not sure why I was given the honor to participate in this, but I'm really honored and thanks for that. I think, as Felicity also indicated earlier, and I was brought up in a very loving and caring family, and that really allowed me to develop, and in fact, all my siblings as well, a very positive image and self-confidence, you know, and that plays an important role when you move on in life. But there are two events which was probably being key in the development of my professional life. The first one is I come from a small town called Middelburg, and specifically Midros. And at that stage, they did not have a high school. So all kids who wanted to pursue high school education had to leave the town. And I've got a family member who was at Lukhof School, and I ended up being a 13-year-old boy, 800 kilometers from home at Lukhof. And my first day at school, when the teacher asked my name and I said it in class, the whole class burst out laughing because of the way I spoke there. I had two choices at that point in time. I could phone my mother and say, you know, the kids don't like me, I want to come home, I miss you in any case. Or I could live with it. And I certainly lived with it, and it became the best years of my life staying at Lukhof. You know, my best friends are still from Lukhof. The second thing is just, after school, I'm supposed to be an accountant. And I went to University of the Western Cape, my ethnic university in those days, to do BCom. It was, unfortunately, the bad struggle years, bad or good, depending on your perspective. And the university closed down I think most probably around mid-year, and I went back home. And the next year my mother said, you're not going back there, I'm going to try and get you into a teacher training college. to cut the long story short, somebody from Rhodes University called and said they're going to have a meeting with people who want to go study at Rhodes but don't qualify because of their ethnicity. And what happened was the person said, you must simply register for something that's not available at your ethnic university. And that was sports science and physical education, which I started. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on, but that's how I ended up at English University. And I come from a town where even the dogs bark in Afrikaans. But in effect, that those are the two things that really set my path in terms of where I ended up eventually.
Sure. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing, and so beautiful. 50 years later, I mean, this is the beauty, and this is how we got connected with Andre, or how I got connected, is because of Felicity being head girl and you, Andre, head boy. And so much has changed in our country and in the world. What are some of the most significant changes that you experienced, Andre?
Yeah, Jonathan, it's it's what we experience is worlds apart from what's currently happening. In fact, what we're doing now is one of those developments that I think is very significant. First of all, we grew up in apartheid years, which put lots of limitations on what you could do, what you could be. Literally, it was legislated. And what since the transition into a democracy, things obviously opened up. We can go to schools that we want to. I know there's some conditions to that. I'm fully aware of that. But we can also go to tertiary institutions of choice. But I think the key thing is that we can also now any job in the country, as long as you've got the right qualifications, and maybe sometimes not even need that. But yes, so I think for me that's the major change, that kids have access to it. But in terms of the from an educational perspective, I think it is, and COVID highlighted this, is we can have a different kind of educational system. And that's purely based on the developments in the information technology sector. And that's why I said the meeting that we're having currently, you're sitting, at a different space, and we're sitting over here and we're having this discussion. Now, I'm not going to elaborate too much, but I think in the past, teachers, for example, used to be the bearers of knowledge. We respected teachers because they know everything. Now, I think the thing or person that knows the most is this little cell phone in front of me. I don't need a teacher anymore to give me information. I can click a button and I'll get any answer I'm looking for. And the role of teachers have now changed from knowledge bearers to people to make you understand what that knowledge means. And that's quite a significant shift. I'm going to stop there. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll stop there. Thanks, Jonathan.
No, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Felicity, for you as head girl from 50 years ago, you too have seen a lot of changes and had a lot of life and living and so forth. What are some of those things that have stood out for you?
Yeah, the changes that I would like to mention are, in those days we wrote letters. There were no cell phones. Life has just changed, and like Andre alluded to, the fact that the internet has opened up worlds, and the fact that we were limited. We couldn't just go to any university or any college. We had to go to the colleges that was prescribed for us. So those are the things that I would like to add to what Andre had said.
That is incredible, Auntie Felicity. Thank you so much for just sharing with us. But when it comes back down to, you mentioned that it's been 50 years later that the two of you have been at school, head boy, head girl, and currently now. I mean, can you share with us how failure has taught you valuable lessons?
Oh, definitely. I was always, I always passed all my exams. And then when I did my licentiate in piano teaching after I qualified as a teacher and was enrolling students already to do graded exams for Trinity College. I enrolled for my licentiate as well and didn't make it the first time around. And I was very, very disappointed. I was so disappointed that I didn't pass. The pass rate was 75% and I only got 73%. And so that meant that I didn't make it. And so for me, that was a huge setback. But then I was teaching at the time and my principal said, you are only a failure if you don't get up, dust yourself off and continue to do it again. And that was exactly what I did. So I went back and I continued the exam, and then I passed with 75% or more. I can't remember the exact, but I
Well
got the
done.
part mark that was required. And so for me, my encouragement today is that if you fail, don't give up. Continue, go back and do it again. Even if it means you must do it several times, do it till you get it right. So that's my encouragement.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
For you, Andre?
Yes. If I can add to this, I'm going to make a very strange statement now and say that I had no failures in my life.
Yeah.
And you must probably going to say, Mr. Perfect. But the truth of the matter is, when I went to two things. When I went to Rhodes University, the first day we had in the first semester we had swimming as a part of the swimming program, and I come from Middelburg where it never rains, so the most water you see is probably in a cup. So swimming is really foreign territory for me. And at the pool, the lecturer said, right, do 3 laps as a warm up. I thought he was joking. Everybody jumped in and swam, and he came to me and said, why are you not in the water? He said, if I put my head underwater, that's suicidal for me. You know, that's how serious it was. So I could see that as a failure, but in fact, I saw that as a motivator. I took on the challenge, and at the end of my basic degree, I actually, not only could I swim, I also got a life-saving certificate. Now, to me, you know, this is the difference between failure and not being successful at the first try, like Felicity alluded. But I think more importantly is, and what most people most probably don't know is, because Rhodes is an English university and Afrikaans speaking, it was an absolute nightmare for me to follow what the lecturers say, take notes at the same time, making sense out of it. So it was a big challenge for me, to the extent that I did not promote, listen to the words, not fail. I did not promote to my second year after my first year. Now, I could have seen that as a failure, but I knew at school I did well academically, you know, and I'm a disciplined person and so forth and so forth. So I knew I could do this, and I just had to refocus. Now, the end of that story is most probably what's important, you know, to, if you want to motivate other people. So for somebody who has failed in inverted commas his first year, at third year level, I think I was one of the top students in the class. Not only that, in my honors year, I got full academic colors from the university. Now, that is a serious accolade for academic achievement. My family will wonder why I say these things on the public radio, but it is to hopefully encourage other people, you know, to find themselves in those spaces. And not only did it stop there, I went on. I won scholarships to go study overseas. Now, this is in a field that I was not intended to be a professional in. But I ended up using, you know, I went all the way with the academic career, you know, all the degrees you could get in my field. And I went and worked at the university. And at the university, I had so many opportunities. I traveled all over the world at conferences. I was invited as guest speaker, etc., etc. So what was a failure? What somebody might say, but you failed. I never failed. You know, I used that little hiccup in my life as a motivator. And this is what I would encourage people to do is, don't look at, you know, look at the goal that you're striving for. And I think ultimately, although I wanted to be an accountant, I think what happened along the way actually set me up to be the best Andre possible. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. What an encouragement, ladies and gentlemen. And I just love hearing these stories. 50 years later, Andre Travill, Felicity Duthie, and absolutely amazing. They were head boy, head girl at this amazing school, high school in Stellenbosch, and living life and having lived so much. Thank you just for sharing so beautifully. I think this song to conclude this segment is exactly what we need. God bless you both, and thank you. Look forward to more conversations with the two of you in the future. God bless.
Thanks very much.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Bless you.